Okay, last lesson of this week. And as it's been stated over the last few lessons in general, this is the last time we're going to actually review the basic skills. So I'm probably not going to go nearly as slow, but just remember, if you're having issues, make sure you ask for help. Freeze on the 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Once I'm finished, bring down your 0. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 4, 8. Add up your numbers. 4, 12, carry the 1. 9, 24 should be your answer. Again, if that's too much for you, you need to call over your teacher right now, because pretty much at this point, you should have at least gotten close to that, or something's missing and you want to try to get some help. You got 11 questions correct on a 19-question quiz, so we put 11 over 19. Remember, we then do 11 divided by 19. Focus on the first three numbers, 5, 7, 8. Adjust by moving it 2 spots over, which is 57.8. And because 8 is 5 or higher, we turn that 57 into 58%, which would be your answer. Black 12, white 10. We learned that when the scores are different, we subtract and figure out who won. So black won by 2, because again, it's 2 different teams. White 3, white 8. Whenever it's the same color, we typically learn that we add them up. So white scored 3 plus 8, which is 11 points. And then the last thing is rewrite 5, 6 with a denominator of 54. So we put 5 over 6 here equals something over 54, because remember that denominator means bottom. We need to figure out what's missing and multiply it to the 5. So we do 54 divided by 6, or you try to figure out what number makes it. That number is 9. So 5 times 9 is 45. And again, just to prove it, 45 over 54 turns into 5 over 6, which is where we started. Same fraction, just a different face. That's really what it is. So what are exponents? This is called a power. So any base to a small number, which we call exponent, is a power. The exponent is the small number. The big number is the base, just like you would say the base is the foundation. The foundation is your base. The small number is the exponent. And the exponent tells us how many times to multiply the base by itself. So 5 to the third means take 5 times 5 times 5. And on MathXL, you'll have to type it this way, so make sure you copy this example for yourself so you don't have to ask later. You have to use parentheses, so parentheses 5, close, parentheses 5, close, parentheses 5, close, but there are 3 of them, 1, 2, 3, 3 5s. Now what you do is the order of operations, which you don't have to actually do on this part, but again, we'll get to it. So 5 times 5 is 25, and then 25 times 5, 5 quarters, which is how I view it, is 125. And on your calculator, 5 to the third is 125. How do exponents change what we've already learned? Well, exponents are higher above multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So if you see exponents in the same line with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponents go first. So just like we learned before, where teachers are more important than students, well, now exponents are more important than the multiplication, division. We'll talk about that in just a second. But overall, assessments over the order of operations typically do not allow calculators, so work out the exponents in the scratch work area. The best way to work out an exponent is to expand it first and then simplify it. So again, to think about exponents, I would think about exponents. So if addition, subtraction are students, and multiplication, division, which is higher, are teachers, then exponents would be your administrators, which would be like the Miss Metz, the Miss O'Connor, the Miss Lewis, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Durrett, Mr. Lauber. Those would be your admin. Because they have a lot more important stuff to do than teachers, they get to walk in front of teachers. So if you see an exponent, they go first. So do not do any operations until all exponents are simplified. So looking at this, again, and it's an obvious thing. When you read this, the first thing I see is this little floating number, which means common sense tells me where to look. So I'm going to do this 2 to the third first because I have to. And so if I can't use a calculator, I need to think about it. What I would do is 2, 2, and 2 off to the side. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8, so 3 plus, that turns into 8 divided by 4 times 2 minus 6. No more exponents. Now we're looking for teachers. First teacher in line is here. So 3 plus 8 divided by 4 is 2. Copy the rest. Focus now here. Only teacher in line is this. So 3 plus 2 times 2 is 4. Bring down your minus 6. Now it's just students, so we feed the first student in line, getting the answer of 1. That's it. Seems like a lot when you look at the whole thing, but if you simply focus on making one decision and rewriting, I think everything falls into place. Once again, looking at this example, the thing that stands out to me is this little number here. So take care of your first exponent in line first. So in this case, 3 times 8 divided by, what we need 2 to the second. So that means 2 2s, which is 4. So that'll be 4 divided by 2. These are all teachers, which means first teacher in line first. Copy the rest. First teacher in line first. Copy the rest. 6 divided by 2 is 3. There's your work. Remember that the key part here is making sure you work on making a decision and then rewriting the portions that you did not use, because that's what's going to get you the proper practice in algebra. Again, looking at this, the thing that stands out to me is this little small 2. So 4 to the second, which is 4 times 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. I think that was on our chalkboard. 7 plus 3 parentheses, because we didn't touch the 3, we dealt with the 4 squared, and so 4 squared will turn into 16, and yes, it will turn into 16 in parentheses because the 4 was in parentheses. Minus 6 divided by 2. First teacher in line is here, but let's say I don't have a calculator. We've done this. 16 times 3. 3 times 6 is 18, carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. 48, so 7 plus 48 minus 6 divided by 2. Don't even need a calculator. First teacher in line is over here, so 7 plus 48 minus 3. If you don't know what 7 plus 48, just line it up and go. 8 plus 7 is 15, carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5, so 55 minus 3, because remember that's what we did first. And then 55 minus 3 is 52. Looking at the last problem, again, the part that stands out to me is the little exponent. So 2 to the third, you can memorize it if you really want to, because I think we've seen 2 to the third a couple times. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, so 80 divided by, that turns into 8, parentheses 6, plus 2. First teacher in line, 80 divided by 8. Now we're going to do 10 times 6, and then 60 plus 2, which is 62. So you do have a test coming up at the end of the week, so be sure to slow down when you evaluate exponents. Many students mistakenly multiply the base by the exponent, and that causes them to miss points. So what I mean is, when they see 2 to the third, they think 2 times 3 is 6, when we know that 2 to the third is actually supposed to be 8. So just be careful. Again, make sure you follow the recommendations that we give you. We're teachers for a reason, and you know, we've taken we've probably done more math, and we've done more math for more years than you've been alive, so we kind of know what we're talking about a little bit. And then remember that you don't multiply any, or you don't do any other operations until the exponents are simplified. But again, outside of that, make sure you're getting help where you need it. If you're not asking for help, teacher has 0% blame in whatever grade you have. So make sure you're using us. Get the assistance you need. Outside of that, we'll talk to you later. Good luck.